much for the kind words. You're too kind.
No, you are most welcome. What are you hearing out there?
Well, we're hearing what we've been hearing for the last 12 months. You know, we're hearing it. Representative Songus doesn't listen. She's not engaged, and she's unresponsive. And we vowed that we are going to be different, the polar opposite of that, as a matter of fact. And we've shown with our campaign, we said it's a dress rehearsal for the type of congressman I'll be and the office that I'll run. And anyone who's been following us will know that we mean business, and we will be listening to the people, and we're going to bring their challenges down to Washington, D.C. to be solved.
I must say I was surprised, Jon Golnik, because I recall when Nikki Songus assumed that seat by virtue of, is it primogeniture? And I watched her. I assumed that she would at least be outstanding in matters of public service, constituent service, that is to say. And I rarely recall getting a sense and hearing from people that a woman, and I don't mean to stereotype, but I've represented women members of Congress, and one of the things that they have been very empathetic about is constituent service, and it was all of a sudden a cipher. Nikki Songus entered this office, and it's as if the people there had a representative in Congress in ceremonial name only.
Right. Well, you know, the problem is if you don't listen, Jay, you can't represent. And that's the problem that we have here. Back in January of last year, Scott Brown was elected 57% to 43% in this district, largely on the back of people's dislike for the health care plan. And yet 2 months later, Representative Songus went right ahead and voted for it anyway. And remember now, Jay, this is a health care plan that closes access instead of opening it by cutting Medicare reimbursement to seniors by 22%. And it has a 2.3% excise tax on medical device manufacturers. It's a job killer. It's hitting us right here in the 5th District with Zoll Medical in Chelmsford. It's going to cut 70 jobs. So it was a bad bill to begin with. She doesn't listen.
Well, Jon Golnik, if we were unfamiliar with those facts, I think it would make a very substantial impression on a lot of us, as it does on me, certainly, that my old friend, Mr. Mayor Rudy Giuliani, was here to campaign for you on Friday. He was kind enough to give us a call, and the fact that someone like Rudy is excited to stand up for you, I think says a lot to a lot of us.
Well, you know, Jay, you're right, and we were honored to have America's mayor here. I mean, Mayor Giuliani, there's 435 races. He said all along that every race is a national race, and the fact that he was here a mere 4 days before the general tells a lot and speaks volumes about what he thinks about where this race is going and where it's headed. And if we can get everyone out to the polls tomorrow, there's going to be some surprise people up there in the 5th District. And again, I'd love to ask everyone for their support and for their vote, and I'll fight for them each and every day.
Jon Golnik, is there one last thing you'd like anybody to know as we head toward that moment when the polls open tomorrow?
Well, if people are tired of the same old thing, if they're tired of a representative that votes 98% of the time with Nancy Pelosi and their leadership in Washington, D.C., and they feel like that leaves them disenfranchised and without a voice, I say come with me, because I'm going to bring our voice back down to Washington, D.C., and I'll be fighting for everybody each and every day.
Jon Golnik, we're very excited about your candidacy, and I certainly embrace it, and we look forward to speaking to you tomorrow and the next day, after what we hope will be a victorious culmination of a campaign. I can't tell you how excited I am about tomorrow, and these guys have worked so very hard. You know, I know how hard I worked when I was representing several candidates at once in campaigns across the country. And, you know, and I never worked as hard as my clients did. And that's it. You put your life completely on hold. I mean, if you sleep 4 hours a night for a year and a half, you're lucky. And I really admire them for doing it. Jon Golnik's a great candidate, and I have high hopes that he will retire Nikki Songus tomorrow with your help. Paula from New